Okay, and so for the next part, we're going to go to the second part of Dr. Mike Bailey's video. And James and Rita, they're really lucky because he's their doctor, and you know he has a lot of information and experience with this. And so we'll get that started in just a second.
Neat. I have a woman just this morning that came in. She's on 5 medications for diabetes. Her sugar's not controlled. She's gained 17 pounds in the last 2 months. She's not eating right. And, you know, I sat down and said, okay, we're either going to have to start insulin now, or I told her about the metabolic coaching. Teach her how to eat correctly to gain control of that diabetes. She said, this is what I need. You know, this is, because she just felt bad. And I told her that her husband's also probably weighs close to 400 pounds. He's a huge man. I said, take your husband with you. You know, do this together. And so they're calling and getting an appointment and signing up. Yeah, and everybody understands, you know, what you're supposed to be doing, and it becomes a family effort, and it works better. And all of the major weight loss programs are now a offshoot of the Atkins program. Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, all of those use low carbohydrate, and but like the Nutrisystem, you have to send off and buy your meals and do all this other stuff, and they make money on that. You know, that's how they make their livings. But pretty much everything has turned towards the Atkins type low carbohydrate eating style to lose weight or maintain your weight. And that's just 40 years of cycling through. But now we're back to that. Yeah. And I think it's a good, healthy way to eat. And I don't have any qualms about recommending it. I mean, yep. And I eat meat, either fish or chicken, occasionally some lean beef, lots of vegetables, green vegetables.
Right.
Nuts are no problem. You know, there's different foods you can snack on during the day. But here in the office, we have drug reps coming continuously, and I always bring 2 dozen donuts or a sack of bagels, or you know, they have goodies to get in the door. And I just don't eat them.
Right.
I just don't eat them. Now, my help eats them, and they struggle with their weight constantly. You know, it's just they're just getting tons of carbohydrates that they don't need, and so I finally told drug reps to back off on that. You know, if you want to bring a meal, bring a good meal, and don't bring us all this snack food, because it's not good for anybody.
Right.
But when we go visit the grandkids in Lubbock, we'll all go out to eat at a restaurant. And it doesn't matter what restaurant it is. It can be even Luby's Cafeteria, or Red Lobster, or a steak place. I eat the steak, I eat the salad, and they usually have a vegetable, broccoli or something like that. I eat that. The potato, don't bring me a potato.
Right.
And it's not a problem.
And when they put the rolls or the chips on the table,
I just don't eat them.
that doesn't bother you.
And like Abuelo's, you can go to Abuelo's and get a great meal, and it's a baked fish, and they'll have the broccoli medley, and you can have rice or you can have beans. And I get the beans. And it's a very satisfying, very delicious meal, and it sticks to my diet. And even if you go to a fast food restaurant, you get a hamburger,
Right.
at least throw the top bun away and eat it
Yeah.
like a open face sandwich or something. You can limit your carbohydrate exposure even eating fast foods. Now the French fries aren't part of that. You
Right.
don't buy
Yeah.
the French fries. It's what it boils down to. So I don't count carbs. I just don't eat them. So
Hey,
I don't have to count them.
I understand. It's much easier to count when the count is
Zero.
virtually zero.
Yeah. So you get used to eating the foods that are good for you, and it becomes part of your life or part of the way you do things, and that's it's made a big difference in my life, and my wife is improving. Her health is improving every day, so it works,
Yeah.
and we have no problem sticking to it. And now, teenagers are coming in
Right.
diabetic and rapidly progress to insulin requiring diabetes. So it's I call it type 3 diabetes. It's a aggressive form of diabetes. And all these teenagers are obese.
Right.
They're overweight, invariably. And if you can teach them, how to eat right, get this weight off, their insulin requirements will go down. And some people can actually be transferred back to oral medicines rather than requiring insulin shots. And the new insulins that have come out are far superior to what we had in the past, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
I mean,
All drugs are
the
expensive. New ones.
Toshiba is a great insulin product, and I'd prescribe it, and their insurance company says it's not on our formulary, we won't pay for it.
Yeah.
So I ask them, what will you pay for? And they'll say, we will pay for Lantus or Levemir. And to control them on Lantus and Levemir, they have to monitor their sugar 3 or 4 times a day, have a fast-acting insulin, Humalog or Humulin R, to cover their meals. And the expense and the hassle of it mounts up. And, people are buying test strips and the testing material and everything, all that mounts up to be a large sum of their income. And for my patients, they're Social Security, fixed incomes, and if they're taking good care of their diabetes, they have to make a choice. Well, do I pay the light bill, or do I get my medicine? And if you can diminish their need for all that testing and all that expensive medicine, you've done them a major service, and that's the goal. Well, my patients who have diabetes, I make them come in every 3 months to monitor their hemoglobin A1C, and I reinforce. If their sugar goes up or their weight goes up,
Right.
I set them down and I reinforce. Where are you screwing up? What are you eating? What did you have for breakfast yesterday? And pin it down. And I tell them, you can't do that.
Right.
So I keep reinforcing it. And again, the majority of patients they know they're going to come see me in 3 months.
Right.
They know they're going to get an ass chewing if it's not right. And so that helps keep them in line. And that interaction me reminding them and stressing that they need to stick to the program is helpful. There are the so-called good carbs and bad carbs, and you can eat the good carbs within limits. Again, when your body's metabolically active and it won't store as stored fat. But basically, that's the goal, is to stay away from the carbs. The patient I mentioned earlier, she's on the verge of having to go on aggressive insulin treatment because we're out of medicines for her orally. And she just doesn't savvy how to eat.
Right.
She admitted to me this morning that she had a Dr. Pepper and a piece of candy before she came up here. And she didn't think I was going to check her lab. So I said, well, are you crazy or what?
Right.
And I said, that, your sugar was 232 when you got here, but your average day in, day out sugar is 177. And I said, that's not what you need. You need it to be below 150, 130, 120. That's where you need to shoot for. And I explained, you got to learn how your body works, what you can eat, what you got to stay away from. And Dr. Pepper's and a little Hershey's Kiss is not part of your diet. And
Not going to do it.
And but just that base of knowledge where they know, okay, I'm not supposed to eat this, and it'll nag on them. They understand they're not supposed to eat that. And I usually tell patients that they can have a small piece of cake on their birthday. And that's it. And I said, that doesn't count for your grandkids' birthdays.
Everybody else.
I've got an employee that has 16 grandkids. There's a birthday party every week. And she's...
You got cake every week.
Yeah, and she's gaining weight. And I sat her down and told her, I said, you had gotten your weight off. She went on Atkins, and she had gotten her weight off good. And all these grandkids started showing up, and she was eating worse, taking them to the fair. You got to have a funnel cake and 2 corn dogs when you go to the fair. And I said, you can't do that.
Right.
I said, if you want to give them that, that may be okay once a year, but you need to stay away from that. And so she's back doing what she's supposed to. Her weight's coming down, and she feels better. Artificially sweetened soft drinks. I tell people this is not good for you, period. And you don't need a Diet Coke.
Right.
And they say, oh, but I do. I drink 5 a day. I need the caffeine. And I say, no, you don't. And even the little Crystal Light sweeteners, they use artificial sweeteners, but it's flavored. So it's flavored water with artificial sweeteners. I don't like that. So, I tell people, if you want to flavor your water, use some lemon juice or something like that that's safe and natural. And that's what I recommend.
Is there anything else that we missed? Anything that you think might be important or that we haven't covered that you'd like to share? And you can think for a minute.
Life is short, and you never know what's going to happen to you. Today is today. So you need to not worry about the past. Can't worry about the future. You don't know what it's going to bring. You worry about today. And optimizing your health, you will feel better. And every morning when you get up and the sun comes up, you can say, it's another day. It's going to be a good one. And cruise on.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks
Well,
for your
you're
time.
welcome.